President Obama will be giving his State of the Union speech tomorrow night. And over the past few days, we have heard about his proposals to help the middle class. But we haven't heard a lot about how our nation's security amidst terror threats around the globe is faring. 24 Hour News 8's political reporter Rick Alvin is in D.C. for tomorrow night's speech. Rick, why isn't the president talking more about terror threats making the news recently?
Well, Brian, I think that's a great question, and I know you will remember the answer very well. Back in the Clinton administration, it was James Carville that told us all it's the economy, stupid. And despite the fact that there's been this huge outbreak, if you will, of terror threats throughout Europe. We've seen them mobilize all kinds of troops and police in France and Belgium and Germany, and they're having a big conference in Europe about all of this. The real problem that Democrats want to focus on here in the United States is what they see as this great separation between the haves and the have-nots, between the very high wage earners and the middle-class American, what they say is a vanishing middle class. And that's what the president's going to focus on largely tomorrow night. Now, he's also going to talk about terror threats and what we can do here at home to remain safe. But they really believe that the biggest message he can deliver is how to make sure that people working every day, working 40 hours a week or more, can make ends meet, because they say too many people are working 1 or 2 full-time jobs and still not making it all come together. And he's going to lay out to Republicans and say, okay, Republicans, you control the House, you control the Senate. What are you going to do to make the lot of those people's lives better as we move forward, and challenge them not to do anything about it? So this is really going to be kind of laying down the gauntlet, I think, Brian.
And Rick, just out of curiosity, what have you seen security-wise since you've arrived in Washington?
Well, it's been a little surprising. You know, I lived here during 9/11, so nothing will ever rise to that level again, where I actually had to show ID to get into my own house because the street I lived on was closed off right after 9/11. Nothing like that, but in fact, because today was a federal holiday, it's very quiet here in Washington. All members were out of town doing events in their home districts, so it was very quiet. But you can see all of the partitions, the stanchions, everything are in place to close down Capitol Hill when the president comes up from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue tomorrow night. And I suspect there's a good deal going on that we don't see, but outwardly, at least for now, there is nothing extraordinary going on from a security perspective.
Alvin reporting live from Washington, D.C. Thank you, Rick. And tomorrow night, both the president and Governor Snyder will be giving their annual addresses. You can watch the governor's State of the State at 7 o'clock tomorrow on WXSP. And the president, again, will speak at 9 in Washington. You'll see that here on Wood TV 8. We'll have complete reaction live from Washington and Lansing tomorrow night on your 24 Hour News 8 at 11.